Hey, this is Calvin with Impruver. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to build operational stability using Impruver. There's a lot of things you can do inside the system. There's dozens of tools, a lot of features, a lot of reporting. But in today's session, I'm going to give you a recipe that can help you if you're starting from a firefighting culture, very reactive culture. I'm going to give you a recipe that will help you to start to build stability. And it starts with standard work. Then it goes into a tool we call Countermeasure. And then we'll finish off with root cause analysis, and we'll use a simple 5 whys for this. So let's jump right in. Starting with standard work, as you've probably heard before, without standards or without standard work, there can be no improvement. There is a school of thought that says you can start your CI journey by creating standards or documenting your existing processes across the board from end to end within your operation. So I'm going to show you a tool that you can use inside Impruver to start to document all of your processes. As you can see me scrolling down my dashboard, you can see all the tools that I have activated on my account, and I'm going to scroll down to standard work here. So I'm just looking for one that's already completed just so you can get a sense of what it looks like. And we've got one here called Line 5 Standard Operating Procedure. Let's open that now. So when you access this page, it has a few things present, right? It's got the title, it's got status of kind of where the standard work documentation process is, the creation of that standard work document. It's got an edit icon, it's got a share option where you can share this standard with the affected users or people within your organization once it's created. You've got a problem statement, you got a project manager, initiation date, target completion date, and so forth. On the right side here, you got business impacts, safety, quality, savings, productivity, service, morale. You click this little down arrow and you can see that the respective stakeholders have already signed off on some of these things saying, yeah, I see the impact and it's valid and so forth. You can also attach documents to support the claims you might be making or any other documents that should go accompany with this standard work procedure. You can build a team. These are the folks who might be involved in creating and managing the standard going forward. As you scroll down, you'll see a video. You can grab a link from YouTube, Vimeo, Microsoft One, Google, whatever platform you might be using to store files. And then below that, you got your standard procedure. You got each step by step laid out here. You've got the step itself, the description of the step, and of course, an image that shows what good looks like for each of those steps. Just below that, you got last updated for version control and a QR code, actually. And this is, instead of pasting the entire standard work out near a workstation, you can paste the QR code, save space, maybe saves effort. This QR code actually is applied on just about every tool inside Impruver, which, again, there are dozens available, right? So people can just walk by an area, let's say a machine or maybe in a healthcare office or near a desk or computer, they can just scan the QR code for this process. It'll pull up the standard work right on their device, and then they can use that standard work. And of course, you got some action items here. This is for ongoing management of the standard work document, right? You may find we need to add this other item. Let's assign it to the owner of that action item, add a due date and so forth. And you can essentially manage those improvements to the standard through to completion to get any improvements incorporated into the procedure itself. All right, so that's a quick overview. Let's actually create one from scratch now. And let's go over to your dashboard to start. So we'll start at the dashboard. Click the big U in the upper left corner. And there are 2 ways to create a standard work document. One way is to scroll down to the standard work section and find the plus in the upper right corner of the section. Click that and it will open up the dialog box to start creating your standard work. The other way is usually what I use, and from any page in the site, right here in the header, you can click this little drop down beneath the dashboard icon and find the standard work option here. Okay, we'll give it a title, problem statement, initiative owner, status. We'll put it into do status. We won't claim any benefits at this point. You can do that if you need to. You can attach supporting documents, add a comment, and hit save. Let's go ahead and populate that information now. Okay, we got line 5 changeover procedure. We want more efficient changeovers on line 5. Again, this is the initiative, so you can tie a tool to a different initiative if you need to. We won't do that at this time. We'll just kind of call it what it is. Owner's going to be Mike Harrison. fictional user here. Status is to do. Let's put a due date in here of, we want to have this done in the next couple of weeks. And then we'll skip the impact section and then we'll just click save. All right, from there, it just brought me into the actual procedure to be created. We got the title, we got the problem statement. It's already been put in, manager, initiate, target, etc. Let's add a couple team members here. We've got Abraham, Lincoln, and Dana. Next, let's go ahead and drop a video link in here. And again, I'm gonna pull this from YouTube, Vimeo, Google Drive, OneDrive, etc., wherever you're using to host your documents. Okay, I got my link here. I'm just gonna hit paste. And it loads the video. I'll change the size to large. I can hit autoplay. I can mute it, change some of the settings there. I'll leave that alone for now. So the next thing I'll do is start laying out my process steps here. So the first step in this changeover process is to changeover prep is step one. And we're going to prepare all the parts and material needed for the changeover in advance. Then I'm going to add an image just to show what good looks like for this. Okay, and there's my image. So that's essentially step one. Now we're going to click to add step two. This plus sign here, and then it adds another row so I can include step two, right? I can also delete that if I need to, but so here I'm essentially going to build out my process. I'm going to add a last updated date. Usually that's today, but you could change that if needed. And then ultimately I'll submit that once it's ready. And then ongoing management, I can continue to add or remove or complete action items as part of this standard work document. So there you go. That's essentially how you use the Impruver standard work procedure. Keep in mind that you can create tools on demand. So if you want your standard work procedure to look different, you want to add columns, you want to add images in different places, you want to add videos, you can add all the different elements that are available in the Impruver tool builder, you have the freedom to do that. But this is the free version that's already available. You can grab it, start using it, get value from it, do what you got to do. All right, the next thing we'll do is jump into the countermeasure. Let me show you how that feature works. So now that you got all your key processes standardized and you've got a certain quality that you expect, if that standard is executed properly, you got a certain speed, you got a certain cost, all those expectations are in place and embedded within the standard. Now you go into countermeasure and set a trigger or a countermeasure that we'll show you in a second, so that if anytime performance deviates from that standard, then you can take the appropriate corrective action. So to find the countermeasure feature, you can click this little drop-down arrow beneath your profile picture, go to Manage Account, and go to My Company. It'll bring you to this page. And if you have a CI leader type of account, you'll have access to this countermeasure feature. You just scroll down here, click this, and you'll see it there. The way this feature works is that it integrates with your BI system. We're talking Power BI, we're talking Tableau, Domo, and about 100 other integrations with your BI system. And in that system, you would set up custom alerts for given KPIs. Let's take this one, for example. Line 4 had over 3 hours of downtime. You would set up this alert in your BI, and anytime it gets triggered, it will integrate with Impruver and push that alert over into Impruver. At which time, what you would do is set up a tool, a owner, and assign a due date for that specific alert. And that setup essentially becomes your countermeasure. For example, anytime line 25 is down for more than 10 hours, we want to assign a standard work to Dana, and she's got 10 days to do it, more or less. And of course, you can track the status of that item until it's completed. So let's do one together. Let's take a look at this one. Line 4 had over 3 hours of downtime. We want to assign, in this case, of 5 Ys. We want to assign it to Mr. Carlos here, and Carlos has 10 days to complete that 5Y and submit it back. And then you hit save. And there it is. It's converted into a countermeasure here. So as CI leader, you can essentially go into your BI, and for everything you're tracking, you probably want some degree of countermeasure when performance is exceeding the acceptable limit. Impruver becomes your toolbox to convert those performance failures into meaningful and impactful action. So here you can see Impruver has created line 4 had 3 hours of downtime and assigned this 5 Ys to Carlos. Anytime line 4 exceeds 3 hours of downtime in your BI, it will automatically create this countermeasure from this point forward. Now you're systematizing continuous improvement within your organization. Let's take a look at this 5 whys so you can see how it works. Just going to click this link, and you can see that the tool and the assignment have already been created. The name hasn't been given, but Carlos can take care of that. You've got a problem statement here. Line 4 had over 3 hours of downtime. It's been assigned to Carlos. It's got an initiation date. It's got a target completion date. It's got a status, business impact. All that can be populated. Carlos can build a team around this to make sure you got the right people involved. Again, he can share it to the people who might be affected. And then he can go through his 5 why process here. Why 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe a 6 why just in case. Get to a root cause, and then your follow-up actions can be managed here using a Kanban style of project management. Just below that, you'll see some recommended study material. You might see a 5 why course. You might see some templates you can download, some webinars, some podcasts, just a lot of stuff that Impruver builds over time, a library that you can access and use that to advance in your journey and understanding of continuous improvement. A couple other tools that are there to help you drive ongoing improvement. In addition to the standard work, countermeasure, root cause analysis recipe is gamification. So as users complete goals and achieve results and complete projects and things like that, they earn these tokens that can be traded in for rewards. You also have the Impruver storyboard where people can set goals, and you can even set goals relative to the standard you just created to maintain performance or continuously improve performance beyond the standard. You can set goals and drive a coaching conversation here on a storyboard. It mirrors the 5 kata coaching questions. If you're familiar with Toyota Kata, what's your target condition? What's your current state? What obstacles are in your way? What have you done last and what you learned from it, and what are you going to try next and by when? And the idea here is that you will drive improvement beyond standard and potentially set a new standard once you've set some new process steps in place. And last but not least, you've got strategy deployment so that you can set goals and cascade priorities from the top of the organization all the way to the front lines. Make sure you've got great alignment, make sure everybody's working on the right things and driving a culture of continuous improvement. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the video on how to build operational stability using Impruver. We talked about standard work. We talked about the countermeasure feature, and we talked about root cause analysis. There's a ton of other tools available on the Impruver marketplace, and most of them are free, actually. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great week. Let's get better every day. Thank you.